So this morning I'm just getting out of the new Mazda 6, which I've had overnight, and done a few miles in it, to be fair. Pretty car, this latest incarnation of this vehicle. I have to say, I like how this looks, and again, this D-sector, there's just not much volume out there anymore like there used to be, as company cars have got smaller and people have downsized, even though the actual interior is just as big. And I think that this is a really pretty car, and I have to tell you, it also drove beautifully. So from the outside, and as a driver's piece of kit, this is very lovely. Inside the car is just enormous. It's D-sector, so you get all of that space. It always reminds me of that extra size that you got in a Granada and that sort of size car. This is where D-sector really is. I have to say the fit and finish in here is very Japanese. It certainly doesn't feel very European, and the materials have a different feel to them as well. Not saying that it's not built nicely or anything, and I'm not saying the materials aren't of a decent quality. They're just different, and I think sometimes we can be fooled into thinking that different is not necessarily as good. I have to tell you, what isn't so good is the overcomplicated nature of some of these controls. If you look at these buttons, I have to tell you, at night these have a red backlight, which I find very difficult to make it able to be read, and it is so complicated how you do anything. This is all sorts of different controls, as you can see on here for the stereo. It has a fabulous Bluetooth. I'm in a TS2 version today, but whilst I can get it to pair, I could not get it to make calls, and I resorted to the instructions, and you actually have to load each of your phones in there individually. And I'm thinking to myself, this is just crazy. All I want to be able to do is just to be able to take a call, make a call, which was completely impossible. I guess if you're going to live with this car for a long period of time, then that might be something that you get used to, but I have to say, a layer of complexity that is just not required. And as I say, at night with the red backlit, it all looks a little bit complicated. That said, the layer of element of equipment in the car is superb. Now, I don't know why we can't use the centre binnacle for having certain MI in it. For various reasons it hasn't. Instead we have this area over here with this rather nasty malarkey going on about hello when you start the car up in the morning. And I have to tell you, over there it all gets very, very complicated. It gets very full of information, and here is that level of complexity I'm talking to. Here is where your trip computer is, miles away. I've barely been able to see it as I've been driving along. As you can see there, 48.8 average on this diesel version is pretty impressive. But if I want to find the clock, I have to press this button here, which then changes there. And for me, that's a bit over the top. So in summary, I would say that this car, the Mazda 6, some 2.2 diesel TS2, it's been beautiful to drive. It really handles beautifully. Very comfy, lots of room, but perhaps a layer of complexity in some of the buttons that just doesn't need to be there. And actually probably therefore makes this a car that if you're going to keep for a while, a good choice, but shorter cycles, I think it would drive you potty.